We are now connected with Mas Gibran himself to explain more about this. Good morning, Mas Gibran.
Good morning, Gibran.
Good morning.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, very good of you to join us. So, Mas Gibran, explain to us what is the state of the Indonesian fishery sector, compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. Are we really that laid back?
Not really. We're actually the second largest aquaculture producer in the world. So we just below China and a little bit above India. So in terms of the total production, we're up there, definitely. So we have 3.5 million fish farmers and more than 20 million of fish ponds all across Indonesia. And the market value itself is close to $10 billion market. So
Wow.
definitely one of the largest in the world right now.
So what prompted you to set up Efishery in 2013? I mean, I'm sure that it began from problems that you saw and then you wanted to solve these problems.
Yeah, definitely. But actually, I was a fish farmer myself, so I'm
Right.
a lele farmer back then. So I started. I studied biology back then when I was in college. In 2009, I built my own farm. When I graduated in 2012, I owned like 76 catfish pond, and I was connected with vibrant farmers communities. That's when I actually saw an opportunity and problems because 98% of the farmers in Indonesia are smallholder farmers. They don't have access to technology, to financing, to the market. So yeah, I think the technology can solve all of it. That's why I started with fishery in 2013.
So what were the problems that you saw?
Various problems. Operationally, all of 3.5 million farmers have the same problems on feed, because feed cost is the largest cost. It's 70 to 90% of the total cost, and it's done manually by labor, by their hand, manually. So overfeeding happens a lot. That's why in many lakes or water bodies, the highest pollutant coming from the overfeeding. So that's one from the overfeeding problems. But the other is 90% of the smallholder farmers in Indonesia can have access on the form of financing. They don't have access to the cheaper feed because they're too small scale, and they sell it to the middleman because they have to sell it a lot, right? So they don't have a good price on selling it. So there's an end-to-end problems on that create the fish farming itself is one of the least profitable agriculture business in Indonesia, which is quite ironic considering that we have a huge opportunity to be the largest fish farming sector in the world.
So what does Efishery do then as a solution to these two problems that you've mentioned?
Yeah, in 2013 we started as an IoT solution. We built a machine to feed the fish automatically. It is connected to the sensor that can sense the fish appetite and adjust the amount of it given with the appetite.
Right.
And then it sends the data to the cloud. So you can use your own smartphone, and then
Right.
The feed will be dispersed and dispersed by itself more efficiently. So it reduces the overfeeding.
Right.
But that's just one part of it, and the farmers just need to pay what we call feeding as a services. So they just need to pay roughly around 5,000 rupiah per day to use this machine. So it's very cheap, very affordable for the farmers. But once they use this product, the feed is more efficient and they can reduce the harvest cycle. Initially, it's 3 months. Right now, in 2 months.
Wow.
But moreover, we can actually capture the data and information, so we can know what brand of feed that they're using, how many feed that they're using, how many fish are there. We probably the only company in the world can get whether they're hungry or full. So capture a range of data and information. Then we were able to provide different information and solutions to the farmers. So that now we also distribute feed to the farmers. Initially, they buy to the feed stores. Right now, they can buy through our platform and get a cheaper feed because we aggregate the data. We also have launched a product called Efishery Kabayan, or Kasih Bayar Nanti. Essentially, pay later services. So it's a pay later services that the farmers can use to buy the feed on credit, so they can get access to the form of financing, because we work with the peer-to-peer lending and the financial institution. And then the last part of it, that we help farmers sell their produce to the B2B buyers. So we sell to the restaurants, to the hotels, even the export buyers.
Wow.
From the data that we have before it's even harvested. So right now it's an end-to-end solution that we built. We're now the largest feed distributor and the largest fish supplier in Indonesia without owning and operating any single pond, because we're connected through 40,000 farmers and
Wow.
150,000 ponds all across Indonesia.
That is
Right.
amazingly
That is
impressive.
amazing. Really helping out these fish farmers everywhere in Indonesia. Now, Mas Gibran, I'm still curious for you to elaborate more about the machine that you have created. What does it look like? Is it a big machine that you put like in the water, and how does it collect the data of fish appetite, fish food, their health, like as you've said? How does it do that?
Yeah, I think the mission is quite simple. It's like a plastic drum that you put in the side of the pond,
Right.
But it's connected to the sensor inside of the pond. And the sensor itself works by sensing the vibration of the water. So this is the machine.
Yes, I
Vibration
can
of the
see it.
water that sense the movement of the fish. So essentially, we know when the fish is hungry, they tend to be aggressive. And when they're full, they tend to be, laid back, just like us.
Right.
When we're hungry, we're
Very aggressive when we're hungry.
Exactly right. So that's the way that the fish also behave here that way. So we capture that data information to then decide when to start and stop the feeding.
Right, right.
Right, so with this technology, what does it do to the yield of the fish? Because you mentioned earlier about overfeeding. It's like we in Indonesia, we tend to think that, if it's gemuk, if it's fat, if
It's
it's
better.
big, it's better, it's great. But I sense that it is not like that in your case. So could you please explain the impact of using this technology to the yield and the overall quality of the yield?
Yeah, I think the first impact is we reduce the feed conversion ratio. So essentially increasing the feed efficiency. Because the way that we disperse the feed is different with manual, because manual is only 3 times per day using manual labor.
Okay.
But using the machine, we can feed it like 50 to 100 times per day.
Whoa!
So it's like a snacking throughout the day. You definitely can be bigger if you feed yourself the same way, snacking throughout the day. And that's the way that we also do that, which means that the feed conversion is also reduced, the feed cost is reduced, the feed efficiency is increased, but the growth of the fish is higher. So the harvest cycle, which, for example, lele or nila is usually, tilapia is 4 months. By using our machine is less than 3 months. So
Wow.
Annually, the farmers can harvest much more. And all in all, we can almost double their income, their annual income, by reducing the cost of their biggest cost structure, and also increasing their top line by reducing the harvest cycle.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, Mas Gibran, you've touched on before as well about pollutants in these aqua farms, because as I know, many aqua farms are actually the source of pollution because of their feed. Now, with the introduction of Efishery, are you seeing these ponds cleaner? Is that a real thing that you're seeing right now?
Not necessarily cleaner, because the pond itself is not clean, right?
Right.
But we definitely see how the impact of the water quality to the fish itself. So we can see that how usually we try to test it on getting the ammonia on the ammonia sensor on the water, right? And comparing to using Efishery and manually. So we can see that is something that is definitely not feasible, but we can see that using our technology can actually reduce the ammonia over the whole cycle. So the ammonia is almost the same from the beginning of the cycle to the end of the cycle. That's what's important. So we don't make the water bodies worse by doing a farming, and that's how, and the way that we do that, because we're removing the overfeeding problems by using this kind of technology.
Speaking of technology, Gibran, I'm just curious. Do you think we can use the same technology or probably similar technology for agriculture? For example, to create a more consistent yield? You know, a device that can probably measure the humidity or the soil consistency so that we can have a more consistent yield and in a more efficient way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the concept of our solution is the Internet of Things. So we can build everything thing that can actually connect it to the internet and can provide a certain level of data and
Yes.
automation to it. And there are also other startups that is building similar way to livestock solution, to
Yes.
poultry, to
Yes.
even agriculture. So I think it's exciting to see how our agriculture sector can be transformed by this kind of solution over the next 5 to 10 years.
So do you think this is how Efishery is going to develop? That is not only for fishery, but it's also for agriculture overall.
No, I think our core focus in fish farming and in aquaculture.
Okay.
We now still have only have 35,000 farmers in
All
our
right.
farm in our ecosystem, right? And in Indonesia, there's still 3.5 million farmers, and then there's a huge opportunity to grow in Indonesia, and later on the other market like India, Thailand, and
Yes.
and I forgot to mention that Indonesia actually have the largest potential of aquaculture. So we have a potential to be the #1 in the world if we talk about the fish farming and aquaculture. So that's where we're aiming. By using this technology, we want Indonesia to be the global leader for aquaculture, and then our solution then can be also a global solution that we can expand to other countries.
One last question. If I was a fish farmer and I want to integrate this technology into my business, how can I contact you?
Well, you can visit our website, indofishery.com, or we have an app that we call Efishery Cool.
Okay, Efishery,
So
cool.
you can download the app. Yeah,
Right.
Efishery Cool.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, Gibran.
Thank you very much.
That's very good. I love
Yes.
this massive scale solution. I mean, I
That's
can
right.
see a bright future for
And I
this.
can see
Thank
how
you.
this can help so many farmers
Absolutely.
everywhere in getting better quality food. Thank you very much, Mas Gibran.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Thank you so
Stay
much.
safe.
All right.
You too. Bye.
Bye.